and welcome back to Train World. A couple of things before we start today. First, I got another one of those stupid assumption comments about my skin, and I've automatically deleted it. So, I'm going to declare here and now that if anyone makes a comment comparing my skin to him, you're automatically deleted. That's it. I will take no tolerance in comparing me to the second worst human being this world has seen in the last 100 years. I'm pretty sure you all know who the first worst person is. And if there's anyone who can try to make my skin look better, feel free. Message me in the comments or something like that, and I'll be the judge of that. The second thing is that originally I was going to start recording this on a Wednesday, but it's currently Thursday, because I had planned to do a whole setup which is right behind this wall right here. However, about 20 minutes into the recording, I realized that my software, OBS, wasn't recording. I'll admit, that is on me, it's my fault, so I'm not blaming the software. So I'm afraid you'll only see the results of my work here, so let's go have a look at what I've done in here. Alright, the first thing I've done is set up this automatic wheat farm here. I'm not farming this for food, I'm farming it for something else. And I'll show you what it is in a second. And it is connected to this rudimentary storage system full of wheat and seeds. Well, not full of wheat, I'm out of wheat, so I'll get to that in a minute. I've also got 4 tanks. The last one is larger than the rest of them. The first 2 tanks have seed oil, which they're both used in different parts of the resulting product. The second tank is meant to have... what was it called again? Biofuel, but obviously it's being pumped out, combined and made into biodiesel, which I've already connected to my steam engines. So we're at full power and using a few rotational speed controllers. This whole factory is running at full force. Let's go upstairs. Now upstairs we have this complex system in place to get to the biodiesel. First off, we have a basin filled with lava and a mechanical press turning it all into magma blocks, which is led along to be sand and turned to netherrack. Behind me here is a sugarcane farm, which is brought in along to the track here. Both it and the netherrack are put into the grinder here to be turned into cinder flour and sugar. But yeah, I find that grinding down sugar is more efficient than processing it normally, crafting it. Behind all this we have a mechanical arm moving seeds from that depot over here into these 2 basins to be made into seed oil, which is then pumped back into the 2 tanks underneath. And it's then pumped back into these 2 basins where it's combined with the wheat from downstairs to create biomass. I've also got a mechanical pump transferring the seed oil from this basin into this last basin, which it gets mixed with the biofuel to be made into biodiesel. And as you can see, I have over 400,000 millibuckets, is that what it's called? I don't know, in this tank here. And it's all being pumped into our steam engines over there. And then we have this thing here. It is an inefficient precision mechanism crafter, which I will need to set up better. But to do that, we need wood. And I decided to build a woodworking facility on that island I found. Turns out it's actually a peninsula, but we can work with that. I also went over my plans for this area, basically turning it into an enchanting lab with a tank of hyper enchanting over there and probably a process above, converting the regular experience into hyper experience. So there's that. Now, as you can see this way, you can see a marker indicating where a track turn point is going to be, and that's because it lines up directly with where the station is in this track here, where it will turn off and head up right past the wood chopping facilities marker here and straight up towards the trader station here as a secondary miner station. So my plan for this session is simple. Build a track layer / miner. Because, as you can see, at this level, the train will have to go through this terrain in order to get to that point. So I'm going to have to build something that encompasses this 5-block gap here and lays down tracks as it goes. And I've got plenty of track back at the factory, so track isn't going to be a problem. The problem is, well, designing the thing. So first things first, get a station block, which as you can see is just a train casing, which I have a few of, and a compass. So yeah, I found several of these train casings when I went out to find various structures to gather resources from. A few of these came from the assembly station or loading station. I can't remember. Can't be bothered figuring out what it is this time. So, mind you, I won't be placing the station within this station limits. I will be placing it on the bridge here as a temporary... It'll be temporary, so... Alright, time to get to work. Yeah, I think that looks good having them 5 high like that. And I'd say that the deployer hand should go about here. Just need to get one developed to figure out the storage. Okay, tiny little change of plan. I will be adding 2 hands as a redundancy, so this hopefully should be enough to lay the tracks without accidentally skipping over any. I'm hoping, but we will see. Now I just need some barrels and a contraption controller. Okay, that should be enough, and I'll place the controller right about here once I make it. So how do I do that? Train controls, a lever, train casing, and precision mechanism. Alrighty, my mining rig is complete. Yeah, it doesn't look pretty and it only has 1 bogey, but basically it'll get the job done. Now to get a whole lot of rails, not just some rails, and I'd say about 6 stacks should be, no. I'll work it out somehow. Alright, I eventually settled on 12 stacks of tracks, so let's get started. Well, hang on. Whoops. Nearly forgot. Alright, there we go. Now the train is ready for departure. Shabbat Shinko. Yeah, I probably butchered that. Alright, I really am gonna need those rollers for in here. Sheesh. Never expected a cabin to be under this hill. Probably go back and explore it at a future date. Alright, we're out of the cave and right next to this the turn point. So back off to about here. Here? Yeah, I should be able to get back on from here. Alright, after a tiny bit of fiddling, this looks perfect to bypass the wood chopping facilities over there. So, back on board and time to resume our journey. Okay, here we go. Note to self for the future. Deployers behind a bogey are horrible at laying track on curves. But looks good right now, so time to mount up the Iron Horse again, or the Workhorse, or whatever the heck I'm going to call it. And here's the peninsula I'll be building the new wood factory on, with a teleportation waystone ready for me to utilize when needed, and I should get out of here before I get impaled. So I'll reverse all the way back home so that I can move this onto the other track and do the same for the other side. Alright, after sleeping through the storm, it's time for me to move on to the second track. Alright, I've got it all connected up somewhat, but this time, instead of using this to carve it out, I'll carve it out manually because, as you saw, most of the track didn't turn out right, so just quickly do this. You know what, I'll come back along here once I run out of rails in the thing and do it that way. Speaking of which, so go back along the track all the way. Oh, hang on, I forgot that I had all this in here, so yeah, I'll hang on to them while this does that, and then put them in. Excuse me. Alright, change of plans. Instead of continuing the track onwards with the remaining track I have in my inventory, I'll just head back home. Okay, I'll leave this here for the time being and get the materials needed to build a wood factory on that peninsula. I'll fix up the tunnel at a later date. Now I'm realizing that last time I did claim that I'd be building my first train to run in my world. Obviously I can't do that, not until I get the proper materials to make train casing, so... yeah, sorry about that, but... could we cheat and say that the driller is my first train? Yeah, no. Let me know in the comments. So I'm back here at the site of the future wood processing plant to flatten out the terrain ready for construction. Don't mind the bucket wheel excavator behind me. I will disassemble that in the future and use its parts for other projects, but first things first. Flatten out this whole area, maybe up to about this area here would be good, so time to get to work. Just over halfway of excavating the entire peninsula, and already I have to go back to base to fix up my diving shovel's durability. Even with Unbreaking 3, it's fairly fragile, so won't deal with those guys right now, so I'll just head back to base and fix up my shovel and wait for them to leave before continuing. And to quickly answer a question before I continue, yes, I could put mending on my shovel, but honestly, I don't have a lot of mending items back at base. I mean, I do, but until I actually get the enchanting setup finished, I'll hold off on applying mending to anything, even my armor, even though it's almost out of durability. And that is pretty much this part of the island, peninsula, sorry, finished. But I'm running out of time, so until next time, please like, share, and subscribe. Comment if you want to, but none of those stupid comments I've been getting. So until next time, this is Kamen JetStorm, signing off.